Hello again, everybody. Welcome to week 3 of Inside Blitz. LVC is back. Cris, welcome back, sir. We won't have Ron yet. Good to see you.
Howdy. Good to be here.
Absolutely.
Who's the guy in the middle?
You know, he looks incredibly familiar. I don't know where. I know I've seen him on a map in Ukraine. Is that you, Kiev?
Yeah. Yep. I frequent there all the time. For a long time, I thought I was the emperor there, but apparently my messages never got through.
Well, there he is. Kiev tells everybody who you are and what you do and about your own show.
First of all, thank you for inviting me on your wonderful show. I really appreciate that. And Ted, very well known in the industry. And thank you, Cris, for recommending me. And, I'm from originally Chicago, then Madison, Wisconsin, a little bit of Kenosha before that.
Okay.
And, I've been living in Arizona the last 12 years. I've been sports betting. Since 2003, nothing too serious until mostly, 2015, 2017 was when I upped my amounts and, had good years, had bad years. And it's just an industry that I love. And I find extremely interesting. It's a niche that's always made me happier than my Chicago teams because they have always depressed me. So I found something that I can find joy in when watching sports and raising kids.
Outstanding. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We'll have some fun today. It is week 3, but it's also week QB2 because we got some backups going this week, don't we? And it's going to change a little bit of whatever your philosophies were going into this season, at least for a while. Your thoughts on that, guys?
Well, that's just par for the course every week is, trying to dodge the backup quarterbacks, trying to figure out who's going to play, who's not going to play. It used to be worse probably to get acclimated, but it's so regular. You just have to expect it every week.
Yeah. Adjusting, right, Kiev?
Well, yeah. And I think now, even when you see the movement towards 18 games, I think teams are realizing, why push it with this guy? We need him more at the end of the year than we do now. And I feel like maybe JJ could have played, maybe Dayton Daniels could play this week. And I think they're just going to hold him out anyway, because it's more important at the end. And I've kind of changed my philosophy on some of the ways that teams should be taking care of their players, especially when it comes to those older pass rushers too. So I'm starting to see a movement towards that.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate too in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. I just think the guy is all world, and his offensive line stinks. I don't know how much of that you give the credit for that injury that he had with the toe, but at the same time, he's pressured all the time. His organization spends 10 cents on the dollar compared to most, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know why it necessarily, it's weird. It feels like he gets he falls differently than other quarterbacks. Lamar doesn't seem to get hurt, and he'd be the one that you would think would get hurt just based upon the amount of times he runs. But these quarterbacks, if they're not trained to take hits and fall the right way, and I just feel like it almost feels like he's blindsided for the most part, not expecting it. And it's really sad because the talent level on Joe Burrow is at the very highest of the extremes. I believe that he's got the best passing arm probably in all of football. But unfortunately, with a bad offensive line, you're just going to take more hits. And maybe it happened a little too early, but here we are once again with Joe Burrow sidelined for the season. Yeah.
Last year, remember, Cris, we had a little Jake Browning talk during the year because we needed to, and he actually did fairly well. He's a better backup than I think most people give him credit for.
Yeah, if you take away the 3 picks he threw, he's not bad, at least to start off this season. But no, I mentioned it yesterday that I thought, if you're a Bengals fan, you couldn't expect Burrow to stay healthy behind that offensive line all season. Yep. And Browning seems like as a Lions fan, I'd love to have Browning as a backup. If Goff goes down, the Lions are Tostitos. So,
who's the backup now in Detroit? I forgot.
Pardon?
Who is the backup in Detroit right now?
I think the section 113 seat A. I don't know.
Maybe you, if they call you.
No, I learned the hard way
You're
recently that I can't throw a football like I used to as a youngster.
Okay. Oh, so as a youngster, you might have been a third stringer at least.
It's Flipper Allen, Kyle Allen, and he's got small hands. I obviously.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
He beat out the guy from Tennessee. I already forgot his name because he's been hurt after his draft.
Right. Well, and they dumped Hooker, so that was bad because they shouldn't have. They should have dumped Hooker before camp started, and they could have picked up somebody. And they let Bridgewater go to the competition, so not too good.
Well, if there is such thing as an elite upper echelon backup quarterback in the league, I think Browning's at least in the upper 50%, which ain't bad.
Agreed.
You like to have somebody like that. We are the chosen Thursday night football pregame show of record, guys. So we have a game tonight, and Miami at Buffalo. Is this the end of the coaching era of McDaniel in Miami after this blowout tonight, potentially?
You don't think they're going to win tonight?
No, but that's okay. Is that spread? Is it moving down, or is it pretty much hanging around 12.5?
I can bet -11 at the moment, and
I thought I saw that. Okay.
I can bet -10.5, and I can take +12.
Wow, that's weird for a Thursday nighter, isn't it?
Well, not in that number range.
No.
Okay.
Those numbers are dead numbers, so they move quickly.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Small percentages change.
Okay.
Those numbers from
10.5
to 12.5.
Let me ask you guys about dead numbers, though, Kiev. Okay, are all numbers? They're not as dead as they used to be because of the way the game is played and the way they go in for 1 and 2 and changing scores like crazy. Am I right or wrong on that?
You are correct. 11 is a little slightly more common. 8's a lot more common, and 2 is more common.
So DraftKings is actually still 12.5. So there's 10.5 to 12.5 out there.
So how does that fit into the equation of how you guys will make a play when it comes to compared to, let's just say, 10 years ago or several years ago, the supposed dead numbers?
I probably would have taken a shot at just being obtuse about it and probably trying to middle it, even though.
Okay.
Just thinking that 11 had, it should be in that range. And it's really not a good middle, even with having 2 solid points. If I could have done 11 to 13, I certainly would have done that.
Right. Okay, so Josh Allen is 13-2 against Miami. So he just said, bring them on, baby. It doesn't matter what the weather is. We could care less.
True that. Last year, Miami covered, lost by 3 in Buffalo.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of the same players there. Now Miami's in a weird spot. They can lose by 30. They could maybe win. The thing is like how if Josh Allen has a letdown game and they're overlooking this team that hates their coach, but they look like crap. I mean, there's a point if you hate your coach, you still have to try to look good, right?
Of course. It is week 3 too. Yeah,
you got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill. 2 is capable. We've seen that. I mean, Achin is fast. It's not like it's out of the realm of impossibility. It's just a lower confidence handicap for me, where it's Miami or nothing. But it's like your confidence level in Miami is very low, and it's like, are you going to kick your? You have to be able to expect them getting blown out too, but just playing the percentages. If you think there's a 55% chance that they're going to cover, well, that's above 52.4, right? So that's what you got to think about. If you really want to get deep, you just shop for the best numbers on the juice, really. And more places are all about that, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Cris, how are you looking at? Are you doing anything on this game at all, or are you passing?
I'm going to take the Dolphins, and I actually played them on the money line small.
Well, interesting. Okay. What is the money line about right now?
I got +660.
Nice.
And the high, I can still get that, but it's around 6 to there are 650s at Caesars.
Okay. So how much of that is looking at this is a desperate team who should not be nearly as bad as what they've shown so far. So they either show up big time tonight, or that's why I think if they don't, I think the coach is gone because they can't keep going like. And it's a Thursday night game that'll give in the transition of an interim coach a few extra days. That's my thought.
I think you're right. I agree.
Okay.
I think this is the only time to fire him if he doesn't come through, and if the players know that and want him out, yeah, they're going to lay down for sure.
Yeah,
but I just feel like that's more us media, types us talking still. I don't know if they really hate the guy. They're probably annoyed by him, but
I have no idea. Well, he is annoying. That doesn't mean you hate him.
He's a weird dude.
He's very strange.
Yeah.
Buffalo is without Matt Milano tonight and Ed Oliver, so the D's a little bit shorthanded. So more edge right there to Miami if they go all out and give it their best shot tonight and put a little pressure on Mr. Allen.
Yeah. So people think over, but these Thursday nighters have been going under a lot, over the past year and a half and maybe longer. Cris would know maybe more than me, but it keeps me away. And what if this is like I said, high variant game? If this is a complete laydown by the Dolphins, it's 38-3 goes under, right? I don't know what's going to happen. It's you play the percentages, and that's really how you bet. And I think if there's one side to play, it's the Dolphins. That's what I think. And
yeah, I agree.
I'm scared of any total bet in this situation.
Yeah. Cris, any interest in the totals tonight?
I think, and I was just betting the game actually because it's drifting downward as we're speaking, so I hadn't bet it yet. But
the circle lines just came out at 11.5, so I expect a lot of books to follow through. Here's what's strange about the two most popular books. Dolphins are plus 12.5 at DraftKings, but plus 75 on the money line. Dolphins are plus 11.5 on FanDuel, plus 610 on the money line. Both are minus 110. So you can see the money line's better even with a lower number in this book. So that's why it's so important to shop around in these situations. So just wanted to point that out. But the circa really, a lot of books do follow suit after their lines come out.
Is this tempting to tease the Finns at all in this game?
Believe it or not, it's
yes.
It's bizarre to think of it, but it actually I'm just too lazy to put together the teasers with this, but it can be teased. It has been profitable for this particular situation in the past.
Okay.
You wouldn't think so, and I'm just using some judgment in this game that it just feels like potentially it just feels like it's going to either be a close game or a garbage game. So
right. But again, a week 3 divisional game, basic must win. I hate that term, but for Miami, but you know what I'm saying, right? You get it over 17, you got to feel like, okay, hey, if I lose, I lose, but I got to take it.
Well, and then even over the 21.5 makes a difference.
Okay.
But Cleveland was in the same spot last week, and they did not cover the 21.5.
Right. But Miami's supposed to be better than
a screwy game. They really should have. That game was a lot closer than it looked.
Yeah, unfortunate. I'm rooting for my buddy Joe Flacco. He did come on my first show of the season. So
we got to root for him now.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
can you get him on so we can bitch at him?
I don't think he's coming on this show. I think we got a better chance against Shedeur Sanders.
He tries too hard. He'll try to throw one and it's in a pick 6. And at the end, when he's covering, he's just trying so hard to win. He throws a pick 6.
Yeah.
Screws your spread up.
Yeah, it's all about the spread there, baby. It has nothing to do with the rest of reality to him.
We're screaming here, take knees, give up, quit.
Absolutely. Any other last thoughts on the Thursday nighter, guys? And by the way, do you look at a Thursday night game differently than a Monday night game? Because of, when it's all alone, it has its own little, it's almost its own niche there. But at the same time, Thursday's the short week, and it's a totally different reality.
Yeah, it's a short week. It makes it a lot harder on the road teams.
Yeah,
it makes it a lot harder on teams that are unfamiliar with each other. So this is a little different because they're familiar with each other at least.
Yeah.
But I'll be looking at an over bet if I can get it. If 50 pops, I'll probably go over just because I have to.
Okay, gotcha. All right, guys, let's look at some of the other games this week. But to me, the Rams and the Eagles is a fascinating game. I think that's the game of the week, to be honest with you. Your thoughts on that? The Rams are looking really good. They look like they could have some offensive line issues, but so far it really hasn't been a factor at all. Stafford's back obviously is not bothering him. That's because he has the same back doctor as I do. He did the herniated disc on me, so maybe he did a surprise disc surgery and didn't tell anybody on Stafford. Your thoughts on the Rams and the Eagles?
Okay,
go for it.
So this is. First of all, our data is not matured enough yet to make a good decision on any systems that we have necessarily based upon this year's stats. And, there's a lot of change in the off season. So, there's still speculation involved in a lot of this, right?
Yeah.
I tried to start with the best type of power rating that I can. And I have the Eagles -4.5 in this game. So it's higher than the 3.5.
Yep.
From a power rating standpoint, but the Eagles are a really tough metric team as it is because of the fact that the way they win games, how they drain it on people, they get to 4th and 1 and push, and I've struggled with them using my metrics in the past. They're happy to win by 3 when they could win by 10, and a lot of games I've noticed, and if this goes down to 3, which I somewhat anticipate, I'm probably going to have to play the Eagles here. Right now, I don't have a lot of interest in the game. I was on the Rams in the playoffs though, and it was a situation where it was 6.5 and 7.5.
Yep.
And if you had the right number, you covered that one. But right here, it would only be Eagles for me.
Cris,
I think. We saw it similarly last year, if I remember correctly. Statistically, Philadelphia has been extremely mediocre. Their offense isn't in gear. Their defense is not shutting down anybody. They're not close to top 10 in either category at the moment.
Yeah.
But, the word is that it just seems like they're working on some things. They may be similar to what Kansas City was last year, where you're just not going to see them win by margin, and they're going to win ugly. I'm going to be interested to see how the tush push is enforced after people complained that they were offsides last week, and it's just starting to grate on people. They need to be held to the standard of at least not even the appearance that they're, committing penalties this week, because people are going to be really eyeing that this week. So, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. I've had this. Yeah, go ahead.
I can only lean the Rams way here. If it's over 3.5, and I think right now, I'm not sure Philadelphia is the better team.
Yeah. No, I basically agree with you. I think one of the things about the Eagles, and as far as the tush push goes, by the way, that's just simply enforcing the rules. Hey, officials, throw a flag. If the line is moving or they're lined up offside or whatever the hell it is, just throw a flag. That's it. It's the rule. Yep. It's no more than that. It's that simple, right?
Yeah, if we want to go down that rabbit hole, we have a lot more to bring up. But it's a situation where they completely whiffed on it, and if a defensive player goes at the same time as an offensive player, it's on the offense anyway. It's supposed to be anyway. So they didn't do that, and I think that that tush push, you got to make sure that they're not lining up off sides. They got to fix that. That's got to be fixed. It's getting ugly.
Yeah. So anyway, really looking forward to this game, Eagles and Rams. Your guys' thoughts on the kickoff rule and how it's going so far? Because we're about to hear from Rams kicker Josh Carty, who told me a few weeks ago towards the end of training camp how he's working on that kickoff. What do you think of that?
I like it a lot. I was a big Devin Hester fan, and I was really afraid that they're going to get it out. And now you're actually seeing kickoffs. I think it was the right move to force it. And I really think it's BS for the reasons. I really think that they're running plenty fast enough to get to the guy and do the same amount of damage if they did from way back there.
Right.
But they're just, they did it for a media reason, and whatever. I'm just happy that it's there, and now you're getting more action on it, and you can find seams and run it back. And I think that in time the totals should go up a quarter point or more. I'm just not completely sure about that. That's a guess from me, but I'm excited for it.
What do you think, Chris?
I don't like the concept of people standing still with a ball in the air. I think that's.
It is weird.
I think it's the equivalent of starting the runner on second in extra innings. It's just come on.
I don't think it's that bad.
I do.
Really?
I think it's ridiculous.
Because of just the fact, hey, it's football, just play.
Yeah.
No, I get you. Well, I spoke to Josh Carty. I think it was around week 3. There he is, right there in front of his locker. Week 3. Great guy. Ron chose him as his favorite kicker coming out of college 2 years back, and he's been successful so far. And I got him, and first thing I had to ask him, I said, what's going on with this rule? How does that affect you, baby?
I want to ask you, what's going on with the kicking rules right now? How different is it than last year?
Oh, you talking about the kickoffs, basically?
Yeah.
Did you see the one kickoff that I had to hit the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of what
I'm trying to understand
the
this.
league is probably going to be getting turned into, basically. So I was intentionally trying to hit that exact ball. So that was 100% intentional on my part. It looks like a missed hit. It looks like a shank. It was spinning like a spiral, like a quarterback.
So what's the thinking behind that?
Get it on the ground. If you get the ball on the ground, your guys get a jump start off the line because they can move as soon as it touches the ground or touches the returner's hands. And ball's on the ground, anything can happen, basically. Get them inside the 25, inside the 20, instead of touchbacks, which come out to 35.
How do you like it, or is that even the right way to put it as opposed to before? I know you do what you have to do.
If I can continue to be good at it, then I'll love it.
Okay.
Basically.
It's that simple.
But, I mean, it's kind of fun. It's kind of more of a game. I mean, touchbacks, Ethan obviously has a huge leg and was hitting the kickoffs last couple of years. But, in college I really enjoyed kickoffs, and it was one of my fortes too. So
would you rather not kick off, though, the way the rules are now and let him do?
Like getting touchbacks.
Yes.
Overall, the league probably won't be doing very many touchbacks because the ball goes to the 35-yard line.
Okay.
And the average return, I think, was about to the 30-yard line in general last year.
I think so.
So it's automatic difference of 5 yards. So not many touchbacks this year, we imagine.
Yes.
But obviously that's what the preseason's for, so we'll probably figure out in the next couple of weeks.
It should be better for the fans, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But if kickers are able to perfect ugly, dirty balls, then it might be an eyesore for fans. So I don't know.
That's your job to figure that out, right?
Yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
How much do you work on that in practice, though? I mean, it's got to be
as much as I did with kickoffs, basically.
Okay.
Back in the old system. So just, once a week or so.
Okay. It's different.
Yeah.
Have a great season, man.
Appreciate it, man. Good to see you.
Okay, so that's Josh Carty. Interesting there how he said, because I haven't seen everybody do that, trying to put it on the ground quicker, right?
I like the fact that it gives them more of a challenge. I hear from the media the last 10 years that, kickers this, kickers that, trying to get them out. I mean, it's called football for a reason here. I mean, you might as well just change the name of the game. It's messing everybody up in Europe as it is the last 50 years, right? I prefer giving them more of a challenge and putting them as more a part of the game. I mean, don't get me wrong. People get frustrated, like what happened the last two weeks in the NFL. The kickers have been losing games and stuff. But hey, score a touchdown. It's like I said in that Tennessee-Georgia game. Don't play for your kicker to kick a 50-yard field goal. Don't do that. It's like go score a touchdown.
I thought it was nice to see an onside kick recovery last week. Gave my Carolina money line a shot.
Oh, nice.
Me,
Okay.
I was at the Carolina game, and it wasn't that good for me and my son. But yeah, I didn't have a bet. I didn't have a bet on the game, so my mind was okay. But the Cowboys already kind of ruined it for me as it is. So.
Hey, Kiev, is Atlanta doing something funky on the kickoffs?
Atlanta, was that the team that hit that line drive that did land in the 20, that kind of low kick? I'm trying to remember. I unfortunately missed the first half of the Vikings game as I was just getting back from the Cardinals game. So I'm not sure what they're doing. I'm the wrong person to ask.
I saw something scroll across on my timeline about Atlanta's kickoffs, and then
I didn't see
I
that.
saw that they had the best kickoff stats so far this season. So
Interesting.
I'm behind. I got to learn about that.
That's all right. No, I saved the Cardi interview for about week 3, even though I did it in training camp, because I wanted to see what kind of adjustments there have been. And I haven't seen a lot. Have you guys noticed much at all? You know, like, because he figures something's going to happen. Look at the way Josh says, just put it on the ground.
What else can you do?
Yeah, but it's not always that. The guys are still kicking.
They have no choice. I mean, you can't keep giving the ball up at the 35-yard line. So they're going to have to try to.
Well, the interesting thing is if you're up 8 points or so, or 7, you're like, man, am I going to give it to him at the 35 or risk a run back?
Right.
Risk a touchdown. That's the mind part of it. That's, I find, very interesting. And I think we're going to see more coaches make the right or wrong decision based on that situation. I think you still try to pin them, and your special teams has to do the job, because in theory, you should be able to tackle better in that situation. So, you're always worried about being held and not called, but I don't know what I do with that yet.
Okay. All right. I'll be at the Chargers Broncos game on Sunday, hopefully getting a little something for the show next week. And your thoughts on the Bolts? So far, they're looking really good. And hey, you got to say, what's your deal, baby? What can I tell you? Took care of the old Pete Carroll on his birthday. That wasn't very nice.
Yeah, that was surprising. The Raiders didn't fare better. I mentioned it before the season started that it was disappointing that the backup, who is it, O'Connell, went down.
Yeah.
He was having a great preseason, and I think he's going to judge
preseasons. That's the problem.
I think he'll be starting when within weeks of when he can return.
Okay, but what about the Chargers though? How good is this team? They're doing it without their best offensive lineman, who's out for the year in Slater. So that I thought could be a really big deal, and so far it has not been. And Justin Herbert's been great, and every Charger fan will tell you we don't give a damn. Let him win a damn playoff game. What do you think, Kiev?
About like the strength of the Chargers? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, how good do you think they are?
Well, here's the thing. I bet they're the only team in the West I bet over the win total and to bet the win the West. Now, I did do a little on Denver to win the West, but win total wise, I was just playing against the Chiefs. I'm not surprised at all, because what I've learned, and I don't always follow my own advice, unfortunately, that you bet coaches, and a Jim Harbaugh to me is maybe, I'm not going to say the best there, but he's pretty darn close if he's not the best in the NFL. I think he's better than his brother, John Harbaugh. I think that, he somehow gets the best out of this team. He's getting the best out of Herbert right now, and they're not even running the ball that much. They're doing a lot of this through the air, and you're seeing these receivers come out of nowhere, like Johnson, and catching these passes, and tight ends and Disley and Conklin that look like they're scrap heap until they came to Harbaugh's team. Everybody that goes to Harbaugh's team kind of plays great, and he builds it through the trenches. He even lost Slater to an injury this year, and look at that, leading the way. I'm scared to go against the Chargers in any situation right now, and I think that I have them power rated in my top 5.
Okay. And I just like what Harbaugh does now. Again, you start going year 4, 5, and 6 with him. He tends to get really old for management, sometimes for players. But at the same time, when he takes over anything, and that's going back to San Diego State and Stanford, immediately you're 50 times better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, he's getting to be the Larry Brown of the football world.
Yes, he has the moving vans on speed dial.
Yeah.
But are they this good, or is it just, hey, it's early, let's not get too overhyped?
No, I think that they're good. I don't think they've improved some depth, but they still have a depth issue. And
yeah, especially receiver.
Harbaugh's personality has changed, over the last couple of years, and he's a lot more people oriented.
Right.
You, as a press guy, Ted, should have noticed that he's approachable now. He didn't used to be approachable. So he's really developing relationships with the players, and when you're able to do that, they're going to play harder for you.
Look how approachable he is there. Somebody took a picture when he gave me a little fist pump coming out of the field during training camp.
Yeah. Nice.
That's Jim. What are you going to do?
He's in a good mood that day.
Yeah, and Jim has something in common with Cris. They both love the old TV show. What's his name? James Garner show.
Oh, Rockford Files.
Yeah, exactly. Remember we talked about that last year.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So is the 0-2 record on the Chiefs right now like or is this just no just relax? They got their work cut out. It's too early to get excited.
I think it's too early to get excited about it. I don't think it's necessarily a great week for them this week, but I think that they can pull out that win. I'm not sure that they'll cover that 6, so I think that's a lot of points. It just seems like way too many. And it's actually leaning 6.5 still. So, but they'll get it together. They'll get it together. Kelsey had that idiotic drop and interception that was painfully costly in the red zone, right on the end end zone. So
right,
he's got to be more focused, and they'll get healthier too. So not worried yet.
Yeah, but can you trust their offense? Or like if it's anything over 6, pretty much whoever they're playing, like I'm just taking the points, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I don't trust their offense, especially now that we found out that Worthy has a torn labrum. Yep. He's going to try to play through this torn labrum. That is painful shoulder injury, and that is that is an injury that takes months after surgery. He'd be out for the season if he had surgery. So if his labrum's really torn, I don't think he's going to be worth anything to this team. Now, when Rashee Rice comes back, maybe they kind of develop sync. And I trust Andy Reid too much to not make the playoffs. And, they're a very well-loved team in the NFL, but they do not bet them as a favorite over 3 points is my rule. And maybe try to bet them all the time as a dog is kind of what I'm thinking.
The Giants started off on the road. I mean, they're coming off of 2 road games. They finally come off, and I think the only thing going in the Kansas City favor is that it is a primetime game. So if it was an afternoon game, I would like the Giants even more. But good teams show up in prime time.
That's a very good point. Very good point. You guys' thoughts since you are in Arizona there, Kiev. You got 3 2-0 teams in the West, including the Cardinals. Are they that much improved?
Which one? The Cardinals?
The Cardinals, yeah.
Yeah, they should have been improved last year. They're relatively healthy. They have just such a headache for a quarterback, and the headache is the dude can just shine and beat teams, and then he can just, like you saw week 1 when I had them in Survivor, like that 30-yard sack he took for no reason. It's just completely put the Saints back into that game. Their defense is bend, don't break, and they play it almost the whole game. They play too high shell the whole game. That's what Gannon does, even going back to his Eagles days. And it's like they don't have the linebacker to do that, in my opinion, consistently well. That's a big job for the linebacker when those safeties are so far back. And I I think they can beat the Niners. I do. I teased the Cardinals. They're one of my teaser legs.
Okay.
I don't care if Brock Purdy comes back or not. I think the spread goes to 3.5 if he's back, but I don't think Mac Jones is that much of a downgrade from Brock Purdy itself. I just think that this is a well-coached team, so any quarterbacks could have the potential of looking pretty good there. I'm staying away from this game. I just from the teaser's perspective is all I'm doing, but it wouldn't surprise me to see a last-second win by either team.
What do you think,
I
Chris?
think that turf toe issue, as we're seeing, as we've seen in the past, can be a far worse problem than people realize. It sounds like a little pansy issue, but it can be extremely painful and difficult to shake throughout the course of the season. So I have a feeling Purdy might potentially be in and out of that lineup this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, we never know how serious it is, of course. It might be a minor one, hopefully for his sake. But how about thoughts on Seattle? They did get a nice win, but they're sort of unproven, let's put it that way, in their evolution.
Wasn't there a pretty big kickoff fumble that just happened in that game too? A little bit misleading, I guess. Yeah. And you got to look to fade teams in that situation. Seattle, I believe, downgraded their quarterback this year, going to Sam Darnold, and I'm still sticking with that thought. Even when he has the opportunity to win, he doesn't, and he should have beat San Francisco with all San Francisco's mistakes, and they couldn't even capitalize on that. I think he just kind of tenses up and freezes up a little bit in the big spots. And Geno Smith, he's just Geno the whole time. I prefer Geno. And they do normally have the defense to do it, and they have a defensive coach, but I still haven't seen great defense from this team. And I'm concerned for their game this week because I think what I'm seeing from a bad Saints team is a team that's just kind of taking what's given to them from the defense, going underneath. And it might not be good enough to beat the Niners and not even the Cardinals on game one, but it would not shock me at all if the Saints win this game outright. Desperate 0-2 team coming into a fat and happy Seattle team. Did I bet it yet? No, it's on my radar.
Yeah, the way I look at the Seahawks is like backwards, because you see this streak here. They've won 7 straight on the road. They're supposed to have the greatest home field advantage in the history of the world, and it doesn't exist anymore the way it used to. Chris, do you look at that much when you're
we talked about that the last couple of years. There is no 12th man anymore. So
the 12th man's on vacation.
I agree exactly with what Kiev said. He literally stole my homework.
Okay. So New Orleans New Orleans stinks, but they're playing hard. Is basically can you just say that?
And Circa has a flat 7 on that. So it's moving down.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, how are you going to lay more than 7 with the Seahawks right now? I mean, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Okay. Anything else on the Hawks? Do they have a chance at all to even sniff a playoff possibility, or is that a dream?
Well, nobody knows.
Well, I'm asking you. What do you
Nobody
think?
knows who the Seattle Seahawks are. Do you know who
including the head coach?
It's a bunched up division, really. And
exactly.
They have talent. They definitely have talent. I like Weatherspoon on cornerback. I like some of their defensive linemen they drafted. One from Texas, I think his name's Carter. I do like their players. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is very talented. I just think they took such a hit at quarterback that this isn't going to be an unders team eventually. I mean, you see this total is 41.5, and we'll see what happens. I got the Cardinals winning this division from preseason, but I think like you said, you grab a number that's better than the other numbers in a bunched up division.
You're looking for value, and that's about it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got you. Any thoughts on Danny effing Dimes in Indy? I mean, they found a way to pull out a win. It was ugly, but every time we say, you change offensive coordinators and you're with the wrong guy, sometimes that will click from a a lot of standpoints. What do you think's going on in Indy?
Well, they haven't punted this season. They scored on their first 10 drives this season.
Yeah. So now he's a Hall of Famer.
But I think what goes up must come down. So
okay.
It seems like a little bit of overachievement to me. They've got some lucky breaks, but statistically they're solid as a rock so far. But we generally don't see that continue.
It's I was very upset as I was on the Broncos as my best bet last week, but at the same time, the Broncos were very outgained in yards. Yep. That was the only solace that kept my mind without going nuts over an official that knew he was calling that penalty before the ball snapped. And I was upset about it, but the truth is this is real. Jonathan Taylor is fantastic. He is
no doubt
fantastic.
You're just showing your Wisconsin bias, but that's okay.
Well, I'll say Warren's great too, and he's from Penn State, and it's proven right now that he's got the edge over Loveland from all the crazy talk that I heard over the spring and the summer. But right now, Danny Dimes is showing that if he's in a situation just like a lot of others, a good coach situation, he's going to look good. And wow, what a blessing in disguise for Anthony Richardson to not become the starting quarterback here.
Oh yeah.
It really makes Tony Dayball over there and the Giants look really incompetent because I think they're just incompetently run since their Super Bowls. I think that I like them a lot this week, and I laid 3 at -120 when it came out, and it's at 4.5 now.
Okay, that's hard to lay right there, though. If anybody's doing it.
I think the Titans are actually the worst team in the league right now. I think it's the Titans, and they're poorly coached. And I think that it was the Saints before the season to me. Now it's the Titans that are the worst. I think it's a momentum thing with this team. They probably know they got one last week, but you can't deny how much they're scoring. And I'm going to ride that momentum a little bit until it kills me.
Okay. Cris, any thoughts on the spread there? Anything over a field goal to me, I'm looking at the home team, no matter how bad they are early in the season. You have any interest in this game at all?
Yeah, it's a conflict game where it's. I actually have had to research this category of game based on my model because when it's too early in the season to trust a model, but can you find patterns?
Okay.
And one of the patterns that I'm noticing is that the teams that have started off really well playing the teams that have not, generally it flip-flops. And I'm seeing in this situation, a team like Tennessee would actually be covering more often than not.
Okay.
I mean, they have not looked. I agree with Kiev. They're I have them as a second worst team so far this season, but I'm looking through previous model results after 2 weeks, and this situation is basically the worst team is winning these matchups.
Okay, you're talking about against the spread.
Yeah, in week 3, and even straight up is a pretty high number.
Okay, so anything over 4 is looking really, really solid to you then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, you guys are on opposite sides there. I love that. That's what makes it more fun. All right, we got to talk about your Lions, Cris. Which Lions group shows up this week? Yeah, they lost to the Packers. We'll get to Green Bay in a minute, but are the Lions back, or they just beat a really even worse Bears team than we thought? And you said, "Hey, good riddance, Ben Johnson. Have a wonderful life in Chicago."
Well, I underestimated how fired up they would actually be playing Ben Johnson. If you noticed at the end of the game, Ben Johnson tried to just get off the field. There's true animosity. There was a vulgar chant going on in the crowd regarding Ben Johnson. And he tried to just leave the field. Goff chased him down to fist bump him, but they came to play. And we can all remember Detroit was looking very, very strong the last time they played Baltimore, and they got their asses handed to them. They were down 21-0 before they could blink.
Yeah.
And completely outplayed, blown out. And the other concern is the last mobile quarterback that the Lions played just happened to be Washington in the playoffs, and they looked horrible there.
Same thing. Yep.
And I believe that they brought in what's his name? Is there Cade Cunningham? Is that his name? Quarterback?
I'm not sure.
To practice with the Lions.
I didn't see that.
He's a mobile quarterback.
Okay.
So
Just
they brought in
some guy running around and whatever it takes, right?
So they're trying to improve and work on that issue, but the Lions traditionally don't fare well against mobile quarterbacks.
What do you think, Kiev? And your Bears obviously total disappointment so far, even though it's still early.
I feel like an idiot for not betting this last game. I would have bet the Lions if I had to. I said it's a home run spot for the Lions, but it was more home run than I even expected. Just after just a couple minutes, they just all, rallied together and played. But I still believe that the Lions took a hit on their offensive line. I still believe that they downgraded at least offensive coordinator. I'm not so sure about the defensive coordinator. I am worried for the Lions in this game. However, Baltimore is a team that always is susceptible to offenses that can come back on them. And you've seen this happen multiple times. Yeah. It's like a Jacksonville Jaguars mind trip type situation where they look way better than the team and just hand them the victory.
We've only seen John Harbaugh blow 17 double-digit leads. I mean, it's not like it happens every game.
It's hard to quantify, and it's annoying as a bettor because if you're going to bet the Ravens this game, you have to bet them every game because it's a situation where Harbaugh is going to give some of them, but you're going to probably cover more than none. So, I mean, if you can stomach this kind of crap that you're getting from John Harbaugh, you got to bet every game. When you see him at 10.5 against like the Steelers, you're going to be like, oh, but you have to do it almost. It's like, it's that mind thing. And that's the game they could win by 30. It's tough. I'm not there. My numbers, here's the thing. My metric number has the Ravens pouncing the heck out of them just because we have a very terrible first Lions game factoring into metrics. So that's why it's too early, for that side of things. But from a power rating perspective, I have Baltimore a little bit higher than this. And no reason to rush into this at all.
Okay.
Kev and I match somewhat usually in our models, but I have it's funny how you see value on Baltimore. My model doesn't come up with any value except for the Lions side. Getting back to Chicago, though, don't you think Ben Johnson basically can do anything he wants? He's basically kryptonite because of the huge contract he signed. He's not tied to Caleb. Don't you think that backup that they drafted has a pretty good shot at making that lineup if Caleb can't stop making these stupid mistakes and not following what he needs from Ben Johnson or from Caleb?
I apologize. I have Baltimore plus 1.8. So I was looking at the wrong one.
Okay.
So I guess my model's way close, even though my model is still, I'm not trusting it. It's way closer than I thought. Caleb, here's the thing. I like Bagent a ton. I think that he's got the mind for football. I think he's got the competitive. I think he's like a young Joe Flacco-ish type guy. And I think that Ben Johnson is not going to put up with any more crap if he's losing games because Caleb is so inconsistent. Caleb's got the talent in his arm and that kind of strength and speed in his legs. But, man, I'll tell you this. Bagent's not that far of a runner behind him. He ran in college a lot at the FCS level. I think that Ben Johnson will pivot at some point. And my fantasy leagues, my dynasty one, I'm holding on to Bagent just because of that. Now, when you're in a complicated system, you have to rely on smarts more than just skill. And I still haven't seen that from Caleb. And I would not be shocked at all by week 4 or 5 you see a switch.
Okay, but we're all talking offense here. In the meantime, the Bears have given up 79 points in 2 games. Now, that's not exactly a small thing to think about. And yes, probably the Bears' offense is not staying on the field long enough, but that's not good.
Yeah, Kyler Gordon has been out, and they lost what's his face, their best cornerback. Just having a mind issue right now. Last game, and it was and he's out for a couple of weeks. It looks like Jalen Johnson.
Okay,
and he's listed as doubtful, but there's no way he's playing. So that hurts right now. Tyreek Stevenson's terrible. Kevin Byard, that used to be an All-Pro, has not showed it as a safety. Yeah. So it's a situation where get used to this type situation. If they can't get a pass rush from Montez Sweat, who's never been a good pass rusher as it is, and Oda Yingbo, who they paid from the Colts, there's going to be a lot of overs happening with this Bears team. I think this Bears team is a dead over right now. And I would be scared to bet the under. I just think that Ryan Poles is completely botched rebuilding this defense.
Yeah, I mean, how tough is it, though? Now you're relying, hey, Caleb, put up 30 for me every game, and he's still trying to figure this thing out. That's not a good combination.
Nope.
No.
That is really ugly. I mean, they look like they are buried in that division. And right now, and your thoughts on this Bears game this week?
I think the Bears get healthy this week.
Okay.
The line tells you that the Bears might be the right side at 1.5. And Dallas has their serious defensive issues too. But now Dak's going on the road here again, and it's not a rivalry game. It feels like they got a little bit lucky to get by last week. And holy cow, did survivors get lucky last week as well. Yeah. I think the public's going to move the number enough where the Bears are going to be in teaser territory at some point here. Right now I see pick 'em most places. But right now, I bet over 48.5 on Monday morning, and it's 50.5, and you're going to see 51 here soon enough. And 51.5, I'll buy back for half, but it would not shock me to see a shootout here in this game.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Packers, everybody's already putting them in the Super Bowl after 2 stupid games, which is, it's ridiculous, but they have looked absolutely spectacular so far. They're the second highest spread of the week. They're going to be at Cleveland. Joe Flacco going up against that D that's been playing really, really well. Your thoughts on the Packers?
I think they're a prime candidate to get their first loss of the season. It's a sandwich spot after 2, up games. They've got a big game next week. I think Cleveland's better than what people think. You can't run on Cleveland, so it just depends on how they air it out.
So going with Flacco this week, huh? Is the spread reach 10?
No, it's
going the other way.
Well, wasn't it 9.5? Didn't it open at 9.5?
No,
I thought it did. Okay, I got the wrong spread.
I mean, I think it was 8.5, and that's what I got.
Okay. Okay.
I see there's 7 and 8 out there.
Oh, there are. Okay. Wow. Okay. A hell of a difference.
There's an 8.5 right now at DraftKings.
There is an 8.5.
Oh, 8.5. Yeah, I missed the 8.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, grab it before it goes down. It's a great spot for Cleveland. They're also 0-2. They also have, they have a great run defense, and once you shut that down, then Jordan Love has to use his arm, and he's been very inconsistent in the past. I think the Packers running on pure momentum right now is not quite as good as what you've seen. Yep. Myles Garrett might get to Love a little bit. They also lost a important receiver in Green Bay. I believe it was Reed. And he's out for the season. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the youngster over there, Golden. And, this is a low total at 41.5. That tells me it's the home dog all day here in this situation.
Got it. And, Jordan Love has been on a hell of a stretch here. He's gone 13 TDs and no picks in his last 9 straight regular season games. So he is playing smart, clean ball, and that's what they need to have. And then the defense, they're number 1 in yards per play allowed in the league. So, so far they're doing everything on both sides of the ball that they need to do.
Let's see him keep it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
The old
I've
let's
upgraded him.
go on the road too, though, right? And especially in a game where, as you called it, Chris, it's not just a sandwich game. There is nothing else to get psyched up about this game. It's like, let's just show up and win, and it doesn't work that way.
I don't think the dog pound is really a fun place to play sometimes.
It wasn't even fun for me. I called the game down there. I was on the field once as the third guy in the radio cast, and they were getting on me, and they didn't know who the hell I was. So that wasn't very fair. Anyway, but it was fun. And I told Flacco, I said, calm those people down. Would you just throw some touchdown passes? What is your game of the week, guys?
I have no game of the week.
Okay.
I'm just going to play system plays and basically play them all the same. And
you don't have a standout play for you though this week, Chris?
Not really. It's
okay.
Really tough. I mean, I think. Well, boy, I guess I wasn't paying attention. They're starting to bet Carolina, which I think is a good play.
Okay.
Cincinnati just moved down to 2.5. That's kind of surprising.
Carolina moved down to 4.5
okay.
now. It was 6 for a while. It was 5.5 and 6. Now it's 4.5. So somebody's on your side, Chris, if you didn't do that yourself.
All right.
I'm treading lightly this part of the season. I started off last year 25 units down. And fortunately, this year I'm up, and I just want to keep it that way until the model really starts to kick in.
Right. And what I'm loving so far is what Baker Mayfield's doing also in Tampa. I mean, to be able to pull out 2 wins the way he did in the last minute, that kid, he just plays football. You know what I mean? He's a football player.
You know, if only Cleveland can get a quarterback like that, they'd be in great shape.
Exactly.
They got cluster injuries on the offensive line developing. I'll see if Wirfs is going to play, but they lost 2 guys for sure. One's out, maybe out for the season. Wirfs is hanging out there. It's probably a good teaser leg, but you know, I mean, I don't trust it. And the Jets have a lot of talent. They're desperate too, so they're more desperate. Well, a lot more desperate than Tampa. Yeah, it's a situation where I'm worried. I think the Jets might be a smart play. My best play, I guess, right now is just Cleveland at 8.5. So
okay.
I'd like to point something out about this season.
Yeah, please.
Can you name a 4.5 point underdog or greater that has won a game this year yet?
Ooh, no. Interesting.
Nope.
Okay. Again, it's only 2 weeks, but absolutely.
The largest dog is the Chargers week 1 against the Chiefs, I think.
Okay. Interesting.
3.5 or 3.
It was 3.5 for a while.
So
what does that tell you? That parity is here to stay, or what?
Here's something that's meaningless, but I found it extremely amusing.
Okay.
Last year, week 3, there were 10 unders and 5 overs, and the common and what's really bizarre about those 5 overs. Right. All 5 of those overs were 3-point underdogs or higher.
Okay.
Does that mean anything? Probably not, but it just an unusual thing I noticed.
You mean like the Rams are 3-point underdogs? You don't mean home dogs, so that goes over. Is that what you mean?
You mean this week?
Yeah. There's a lot of 3-point underdogs are bigger this week.
Yeah, there's like 9 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Okay, so see if there's a trend there, huh, Chris? If it continues,
we'll see what happens.
In the meantime, is that a Slurpee you're working on over there?
It is.
Wow,
I've got a secret formula in my Slurpees.
Oh, you make your own Slurpees?
I buy a Slurpee. I put it in the freezer.
All right,
and then I just stick the straw in, and there's Slurpee in the straw that comes out, and it makes a Slurpee last for an hour instead of like the 5 minutes that you normally does when you suck them down.
It's a good idea. I love it. And your flavor is? I'm a root beer guy myself.
No, I mix and match. It changes daily. Doesn't matter.
Very important stuff. Anyway, last thoughts on the week, guys.
Buckle up. This is going to start setting the tone for some of these teams. Yet there's still a lot of overreaction, I think, in situations.
Always.
And, I think it's going to be a fun week. Tread lightly.
Yep. I think panic will continue to be the key word in the next couple of weeks. And and some of the franchises might show it by their changes too. That's going to be very interesting to watch. You start out 0-3, baby. Panic is deserved.
It's a betting on the betting side of things. It's a really relaxing week. I don't feel
good.
There's no sense of urgency. There's no reason to get heavily involved. Follow systems that work and live for another week ahead.
How do 0-2 teams fare against the spread? I can look that up later. I don't have my.
Oh, that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, 0-2 teams.
You have anything on that, Chris?
Week 3.
I've got so many ridiculous stats.
I'm sure you have it in the archive somewhere.
I mean, it happens so much. It's probably a small percentage, like 51 or something. But I'm just curious. It'd be interesting to see over the last 10 years, where that number is.
Yeah, but also home and road is what I'd like to see, because how much does that be a factor when it comes down to the bottom line? Do they get that W or not?
I think it's more. I think
that's more against the spread than it is.
There's so many trends that you can do at this point in the season.
Yeah,
that you really just don't want to necessarily narrow it down to one. You want to try to find 4 or 5 solid trends that overlap.
Yeah. So, hey, Chris, you got any thoughts on who you'd like me to bring on the show next week? Chargers Broncos, if I can get them for a couple of minutes after the game. Besides the coach of the quarterback.
No.
Hey guys, I got one for you real quick. NFL
please.
teams that are 0-2 and are dogs in week 3. So there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Have gone 37-17 ATS.
Wow.
69% with a 32% ROI since 2017.
Good number.
And this is from Josh Applebaum. System matches this week are the Dolphins, the Jets, the Texans, the Bears, the Giants, the Saints, the Browns, the Panthers, and the Titans.
Wow. Good. That's a great stat.
There
Absolutely. You go. All right. That gives you a little work after the show, right? Which ones are yours?
It's called some hold your nose work, but I did bet the Browns, so we'll see what happens.
No, I get it. Well, it's always hold your nose. You're betting an 0-2 team.
I like the Browns. The Browns are an easy team to bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now the question is, will you get an easy win? That's a whole different story. All right, guys, enjoyed the show very much. Everybody enjoy week number 3. You got your tips from the 2 guys who know better than me times a million. That's all that matters. Hopefully, we'll see how Ron is doing next week. We'll see how Chris is doing next week. Chris, you look great. You have no excuses now. Talk is cheap, and so am I.
Yep.
I got you. All right,
thanks
guys.
for the invite, and good seeing you again, Kiev.
You too, Chris. Thank you, and thanks a lot, Ted, for having me on once again.
Pleasure. Love to do it anytime. Enjoy the week, everybody. See ya.